To me, it just makes sense. Like, if he's fighting for a world title in my division, why don't people want to see who the best is in the division? Like, it doesn't not make sense to me if we don't fight.
My thing that I'm mad about is, right, if you guys think you're the best in the world, why don't you fight the other best in the world and show the people, like, what the you guys are getting a lot of money, like, what's the problem?
Hey, they're talking about fighting the best, this and that. Don't fucking talk about it, boys. I'm right here. The winner out of Zab Benavidez. Let's go. Let's make it happen.
Jai Opetaia steps up and delivers a message to David Benavidez. The boxing world watches closely as speculation grows about a massive cruiserweight showdown between these two elite competitors. Following that devastating win over Ramirez, momentum is building fast. Opetaia makes his intentions crystal clear. He's not chasing quick paydays or random matchups. His mission is different. He wants to cement his legacy. And for him, Benavidez represents exactly what he needs at this stage of his career, to achieve something historic at the championship level.
Here to chase fame of someone else or, chase names for clout. I'm chasing undisputed. Even Benavidez, his name's only in the mix is because he's fighting for a cruiserweight title. So if it wasn't fighting for a cruiserweight title, it doesn't bother me. I don't chase names. I'm chasing legacy and undisputed. Not look at the last couple undisputed fighters. They're the goats of this sport. Right. You know what I mean? And I want my name up there, and I want my last name up there.
Jai Opetaia sends a direct challenge to David Benavidez. The boxing community is watching intensely. A major cruiserweight battle between these two powerhouses could happen. Everyone's talking about it. The excitement keeps growing, especially after that brutal finish against Ramirez. But Opetaia wants you to know something important. He's not just looking for any fight. Legacy matters to him. That's his real goal. Benavidez isn't just another opponent. For Opetaia, this matchup means everything. It's the moment that defines his place among the elite champions in his weight division.
I think that's the biggest fight in the world, especially at this weight division. And that's definitely a fight I want. Like I said, I'm not scared of nobody. This is Monstro's world. And if he wants to get that fight, we get that fight. I don't know why he went to Zuffa. We could have made this fight right after this one. But now I don't know if he got stripped by the IBF or what it is. I'm not going to go over there and fight for a Zuffa title. But I don't know. I think that would be a great fight to make in the future. And I respect Jai Opetaia a lot. He's a great fighter, and I think he has to come back over here to make these fights happen because, we can't make no fights in Zuffa.
Benavidez says this fight with Opetaia could be the most electric matchup in boxing right now. But let's be real, the business side of this sport. It always finds a way to slow things down.
I actually don't mind Benavidez, you know what I mean? Like, he's the way he holds himself, the reason he fights, he's chasing legacy. He talks about him and his old man, and he opens up about, some of his, the life he sort of lived. So it's actually a little bit similar to mine, my dad being my coach, and so I can relate when I hear him speak. I know that feeling. I know, the father being the coach and boxing since you're a little boy. So, it's respect, but at the same time, bro, I feel like it's an awesome fight. And I told him too. I said, me and you, man, we'll light this place up.
Opetaia straight up respects the grind and the mindset Benavidez carries into that ring. But make no mistake, he knows this fight won't be easy. Both of these guys would be pushed to their absolute limits. And that kind of pressure, that's exactly what brings out the best in a fighter.
We don't even know about Jai Opetaia now. I don't know what's going on with Zuffa. And from what I hear, my people and their people, they're really hard. They don't like to work with each other. So, but, if that's what the people want, I'm here to cater to the people. So if we can't get the fight with Bivol and the people want the fight with Jai Opetaia, that's what we're gonna make.
Benavidez knows there's stuff happening outside the ring that could mess with when this fight actually goes down. But here's the thing, he's not closing the door. If the right pieces fall into place and both sides can get on the same page, he's ready to sign on the dotted line and make it happen.
You'd rather see David fight Zurdo or Opetaia. If you ask the Mexican fighters, they don't know who Opetaia is. You know, he still needs to develop a little bit more and grow his fan base. Does it make sense? So if we were fighting Opetaia, people would be complaining. We're fighting nobody, about somebody that is not known. The boxing world knows who he is, you know, because at the end of the day, for Mexicans know Opetaia.
Then Jose Benavidez SR drops a question that nobody wants to ignore. Does Opetaia actually have the star power to sell a big fight against Benavidez? Because in his eyes, Opetaia still has work to do. Yeah, the die-hard boxing crowd knows who he is. But your average fan on the street? They've got no idea. And that's a real problem. Before this fight becomes a massive event that casual fans actually care about, Opetaia needs to get his name out there in a much bigger way.
To be honest with you, Opetaia, I think he gets hurt every fight he fights. He gets hurt with fighters that are not even known. I think he needs a little bit more experience, and I'm gonna say the same thing like David Morrell. Everybody said that he was a next big thing and that he was gonna make David look like an amateur, this and that. You know, he doesn't have the experience that David has. I think he is going to be better in about 3-4 years more. You know, I think he's backing up some experience a little bit more. Don't get me wrong, he's a good fighter. He is going to be a great fighter. But right now, he doesn't have the experience that David has.
But here's the other side of this. Jose Benavidez SR believes Opetaia simply isn't ready yet to step in front of a guy with Benavidez's level of experience. And he's got receipts. He points to specific moments in Opetaia's recent fights where he looked shaky, and that was against guys who weren't even top tier. So imagine what happens against Benavidez. The experience gap between these two is massive. And right now, that gap alone could be the difference between winning and losing when the bell rings.
It is not smart for David Benavidez to give Jai Opetaia a shot at his name right now because he's hot right now. You go up and fight Usyk while you're hot, and it makes sense. You can always come back down and fight Opetaia if you want to. You know what I'm saying? If you lost to Usyk, Opetaia fight is still there. If you lose to Opetaia, Usyk fight gone. So be smart about this thing. Go take Usyk while the iron is hot. You beat Usyk, you don't know how to see Opetaia unless you want to come to heavyweight. But if you go fight Opetaia and lose, you don't get a chance to see Usyk, and you don't get a chance to make history. That's crazy. You're on a rail right now to do something that nobody ever done before.
Now Roy Jones Jr. comes in with a completely different take. He thinks Benavidez should forget about Opetaia for now and go straight after Alexander Usyk first. Why? Because according to Roy, that Usyk fight is on a whole different level historically. Opetaia can wait. But here's what's really eating at Roy Jones. Momentum in boxing is everything. You lose that momentum, even for a second, and that window slams shut forever. Benavidez isn't just picking his next opponent here. Every single decision he makes right now is shaping his legacy. And the wrong move. It could cost him everything.
I think the Jai Opetaia fight at cruiserweight is the fight for me. That's the fight that I want to see. Jai has been the man at that weight class for a very long time. Now you got a new player in the division with a hot name and whose stock and whose star power is only rising. That's the fight I believe that needs to be made at the cruiserweight division. We'd love to see Bivol, but for some reason the light heavyweight division just is not as appealing to me right now. For David Benavidez, and again, I'm not sure that that's the right weight for him to fight, being that he's fought this weight and looked the way that he did. I think it's cruiserweight, or maybe go up and fight Alexander Usyk.
But at the same time, Andre Ward sees this completely differently. For him, Opetaia is the most important fight Benavidez can make right now. Full stop. Ward recognizes Opetaia as the legitimate champion at that weight. And Benavidez? He's riding serious momentum with his name getting bigger by the day. So why wait? Ward's argument is simple. This fight delivers more excitement and more energy right now than any other matchup people are throwing around for Benavidez's future. This is the one. This is the fight that makes sense today.
Cruiserweight kingpin Jai Opetaia tweeted, "Enjoy your victory. See you soon."
Ooh, okay.
Now, there's been plenty of talk over the past year of Benavidez fighting Beterbiev or Bivol guys, right, at light heavy. But now that he's at cruiserweight, what does Benavidez and Opetaia look like? What does that look like, Teo?
I see it as like an undisputed title, and if with the whole conjunction of Zuffa belt and everything like that, why not? I mean, we had that kind of similarity when it came to Canelo and Crawford, right? And I felt like this is another great time. I think we should wait on this. Let David Benavidez aim for Noel for the WBC, who just beat Badou Jack, and then we go from there.
And Teofimo Lopez. He's already treating a Benavidez versus Opetaia fight like a full-blown cruiserweight championship event. In his eyes, this matchup carries the same weight as the biggest title fights in the sport right now, especially with both guys building serious momentum at the exact same time. But here's where Lopez pumps the brakes slightly. He thinks Benavidez needs to go out and grab one more big win inside the division first. Stack that resume just a little higher. Then and only then should the entire boxing world lock in and give this massive confrontation between these two the full attention it deserves.
I like Jai. I think that he's a good fighter, but I think that Benavidez is just a great fighter.
Do you think that that's a competitive fight? Do you think it goes a lot of rounds? Do you think it's a fight of the year type of fight?
Yeah, I think that it's a very competitive fight because, you know, Jai, he has speed, he has power, he has experience, and he's been at the weight. But like I said, I just think that Benavidez is levels above him.
And then Devin Haney steps in with his take. He sees a Benavidez versus Opetaia fight as a genuinely high-level matchup, no question about it. And a big reason for that is exactly what Opetaia brings to the cruiserweight division. The guy is no joke, but here's where Haney separates the two. He believes Benavidez carries a different kind of presence altogether, a different kind of ability, something that goes beyond just being good. And if this fight actually happens, Haney thinks what Benavidez could do to that division might be something the boxing world hasn't quite seen before.
Benavidez, by my lights, the way I figure things, has never actually been the champion of a division. Not his fault. Canelo never gave him a shot. So far, neither Bivol gave him a shot, nor Beterbiev, when he was the champ, gave him a shot. Opetaia is a champion who is sitting there going, I want to fight you, right? Look, the fact that no one's fought Benavidez, you understand. And I know he just beat Zurdo Ramirez and there were belts on the line. The actual champion of the division is different.
And Max Kellerman adds another layer here. He makes the point that Benavidez has built his entire reputation without ever getting that one defining moment that truly confirms a fighter at the top level. And Kellerman argues the sport's biggest names have deliberately avoided giving him that shot. That's exactly why a potential fight with Opetaia means so much more than just another matchup on paper.
He's got talent. He's been fighting since he's a kid. You know, he was brought up, him and his brother, to be fighters. It's in their blood. You know, they live it. But I always loved him because of his attitude on top of that. That he'll fight anyone. Old school. You know, he puts his you know, money where his mouth is. He wanted to fight Canelo, he's ready to fight Canelo. You know, he didn't get that, then, you know, he goes up to light heavyweight and he wins the title there. And then he goes up to cruiserweight. He'll take fights that, at least on paper, are risky fights that a lot of people wouldn't take, and he'll take them. He puts his money where his mouth is. He has the true confidence that you want in a champion.
And Teddy Atlas brings real energy to this conversation. He gives Benavidez serious credit for consistently choosing the hardest path instead of playing it safe. Atlas believes what truly separates Benavidez isn't just skill, it's his mentality. He keeps stepping toward dangerous opponents and bigger physical challenges when most fighters would quietly walk the other way. And for Atlas, that mindset says everything. It reflects the belief and the standards Benavidez holds himself to every single day of his career.
His hands are faster, he's more explosive, and he's got that ability to fight and burst. He is a guy, I think the secret's out. I don't think everyone knew that this is a guy who is explosive and burst. The way that you might be in a certain part of the country that is prone to cloudbursts of rain. Like in the middle of the day, all of a sudden, boom, there's a burst of torrential rain. And then it stops. And then boom, there's another one. That's Benavidez. He is explosive with his hand speed, with power, and just his knack, his instinctual knack to know when to explode.
Atlas also points out that Benavidez becomes a serious problem the moment the pace starts picking up. He highlights those explosive offensive bursts, the combination punching, and that natural timing that allows Benavidez to seize control of a fight in an instant. And that ability to shift momentum so suddenly and so sharply. Atlas sees that as one of the biggest weapons behind everything Benavidez has built in this sport.
I think he's a great fighter. I met him at a fight. I want to give a big shout out to Opetaia. I think he's a great fighter. He's doing well. I think he still needs the experience, His last fight, I think he held back. He looked a little bit tired. He was struggling in there. He did win the fight to me, and he did win pretty much all the rounds. But, I just think that he needs a little bit more experience. We'll fight him tomorrow. Not a problem. Like I said, we want to fight him. It's a fight that people want to see.
But even with all this buzz building around the fight, Jose Benavidez SR still isn't fully sold on Opetaia against elite-level competition. He points to recent performances where the pace clearly became harder to handle even when Opetaia was controlling the action. Those are the moments that raise real questions. But one thing Benavidez makes crystal clear: his side has zero hesitation about walking straight into that fight.
Well, Opetaia is big, fast, and explosive. And David has good defense, but he's not unhittable. So the fact that David started out at 168 and Opetaia started out at 200, Opetaia, I didn't think Zurdo could do anything with David because he's just too slow getting off, man. You know what I mean? Like, everything is not about speed, man, but when the speed difference is that big, you gotta have some kind of like masterful timing or jab or something to offset that. He's just too slow. Opetaia not slow like that. He's twitchy, he's fast, and he's explosive. And David gonna have to be careful. That boy will hit you with a left hand, he can knock you out. And he's a southpaw, so he'll have some built-in advantages. He's just it's not a skill thing. He's a different level athlete than what El Zurdo is.
But Coach Breadman sees this from a completely different angle. He believes Opetaia brings a far more dangerous athletic test for David Benavidez than anything he's faced recently. The explosiveness, the movement, those southpaw angles, all of it creates genuinely difficult moments during exchanges. And against a fighter who can still be caught under pressure, those factors become even more serious inside that ring.
Jai does lack is a creative jab, right? He doesn't use his jab as much as he should. Though the footwork is there, right? He's going to make you miss and he'll eventually make you pay, but that jab sets up everything and helps you find the following shots, man. So he could be a lot more tailored with his jab and a lot more successful because of it.
Breadman still gives Benavidez the edge when it comes to overall skill and ring intelligence. But he's not sleeping on Opetaia either. He sees Opetaia as a genuinely tough matchup because of the pressure and physicality he brings every single exchange. And that's what makes this dangerous. Opetaia carries the kind of presence that can force Benavidez into uncomfortable moments, even when everything looks completely under control.
Everyone thought it's probably the best cruiserweight in the division because I remember when I talked to Brandon, he was, working and sparring guys like Arthur, and a lot of times in Arthur Benavidez camps, a lot of the sparring partners, they don't make it. Like they get sent home like first day and stuff. So, but there was a lot of consistency in him in those camps, let alone his career. I know he kind of fell short of a fight here and there, but he's also had breakout performances